Let's take a first look at the all-new Toyota Land Cruiser, and boy, it has changed. You can already see that right here. This is the Land Cruiser 250. In some markets it will also be called Prado, but also on the Northern American market this will be now the Land Cruiser, same for the European markets. Let's take a detailed tour here with Thomas Nautic in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with this really strong front, a rugged design, and Toyota claims it is more off-road capable and more on-road capable than ever before. How is it possible? Let's dig into the details. Here, these round headlamps, this is a special styling for this first edition model here. It will be more square than in the real model, and there are also some more tweaks for this first edition model. For example, also this sand color, it's really called sand, and it's also a quotation of past models. Then we have here this really square front grille, so look-wise definitely promises off-road capability, and oh yeah, it's so off-road capable that it really kicks me in the back and it definitely promises fun. It just looks like a toy car. Wait a minute, toy car? Here I found this Hot Wheels toy car of the old Land Cruiser, and you can see these colors here, and they are also then here on this first edition with a special sticker. Why not? The length here at 4.92 meters or 194 inches, and the interesting thing is the bigger brother, the J300, is not so much longer or bigger anymore. It's more about the features and engines and so on. Before that there was a bigger difference actually. Here 18-inch wheels in somewhat, let's say, light all-terrain tires, but they're really fitting to the vehicle, black alloys on the inside, and this massive side step here. So once again, this rugged square look is continued here, also with the contrasting roofline. Off-road features and facts, yeah, I still have it in my hand. 31 degrees is the approaching angle, 22 degrees the descending angle. Let's take a look at the rear, where we have nice new signature here of these tail lamps. And another sister model of this one is, by the way, the Lexus GX. And in markets where they also offer the bigger Land Cruiser, which is not so much bigger anymore, then you also have this Prado badging, Land Cruiser Prado. This will, for example, appear in Australia, New Zealand and so on, in Japan. But in the US and in Europe, it will just look like this. What do you think about the styling of the new Land Cruiser? Tell me. All-wheel drive and transfer case is of course always standard. That just belongs to this Land Cruiser, this off-road icon. But new thing is that in the front you can now decouple or turn off the front stabilizer. That's also another thing for off-road use, and so you don't have to set up a car for off-road only and then it's maybe worse on-road. Here it kinda serves both purposes. Ground clearance at 22 centimeters or almost 9 inches, where you can see that this here the side part is never the lowest part of the vehicle. Then towards the rear, there's also a nice feature, these mud flaps here, or like also against dust when you drive really fast on gravel roads and so on, they keep the dust emission a little bit lower. Turning indicators in the front, this vertical styling, also pretty rugged look. And these round headlamps, by the way, will also be used for the so-called 1958 model if available on your market. Turning indicators in the rear, pretty tiny for such a large vehicle, isn't it? Oh, and look at the additional indicator here in, once again, these rugged rectangular side mirrors. It's a pretty cool styling element. Oh, cool contrasting door handles, door closing sound. It's actually quite nice. Then inside of the doors, top part is also somewhat soft and structured. Here is a little bit softer. First edition badge here, but this will only be like for 3,000 pieces. Then also here the armrest, memory seating, and then this really cool styling for that steering wheel. Real buttons still at the steering wheel, so that's also no hashtag capacitive BS. Electric steering column, I can show you that when we power up the vehicle. And also first time electric power steering for a Land Cruiser. This will of course also help in on-road driving. These air vents here are designed in a more like sports car design, I would say, like this round turbine style, definitely. And the seats, base version would come with fabric, mid-trim with Softex, that's the high-grade leatherette. And as my info goes, this is supposed to be animal skin in the first edition here. Quality, however, doubtful. I would rather than go for the fabric seats or for the mid-trim Softex. Seating position, upright, command driving position. Oh, when you look outside the window and you see these square dimensions on the outside, It's just like, let's go off-roading. It's so much fun. Like, it has some emotional factor, definitely. Then here, still a lot of headroom left when you're still 189 or 6'2". Interior cockpit overview. Really, the exterior design is mirrored in the interior design. That's pretty cool, actually. Soft touch here, soft touch there. So also actually good from the build quality and so on. The air vents, how you control them like this. Either 8-inch would be the base infotainment. This is the 12.3-inch infotainment. Can also be standard for markets where they only offer high trim digital instruments. And let's take a detailed look here. I really like this climate unit here. Seat heating, seat cooling will also be available for mid-trim soft-deck seats, and also a real climate unit up and down, so easy, straightforward, and looks quite cool. And below that also a volume jog and a lot of USB-C chargers, and this is then the connector, even HDMI port. That's interesting. Not to forget this mode selector here, where you select the different driving modes. Adaptive cup holders, also for large bottles. Then a real shifting lever here for the automatic gearbox, also feels pretty rugged. And then you have a lot of off-road controls right here, special, for off-road situations. Firstly, to mention, of course, the SDM. This is then this uncoupling of the front stabilizer. Sorry for that. Then the rear differential lock. And here are the driving modes. For example, here the normal automatic all-wheel drive mode. Then 4L, H4L would be then with the center differential lock. And L4L is then here push. And then this is then with the off-road gear reduction. Middle armrest, soft touch, and very well attached also. And underneath there's a cooling box, so you can actually cool that one when you hit this button. Oh, you also hear that cooling fan already being activated or deactivated. Digital instruments, clear speed in the middle part. On the right side, it's interesting for diesel customers that it digitally shows the AdBlue. And here now, this is a prototype vehicle. That's why the wrong vehicle is in the middle part. It's normal for such first hand-built vehicles. I just want to show you that the driving modes also change the color. Infotainment system also has an internal GPS map, and you see here the responsiveness has greatly been improved comparing other Toyota models. And then it's kept really to the basic style. Most of the time you will use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then the integration looks here like this. Back mirror, you can switch between the normal mirror and then this additional camera mirror in the back. Rear seating area. Let's see how much space we have. In the middle part you can see a large middle tunnel, USB-C chargers, also separate climate unit and so on. And let's take a look at how much space we have actually. So when I have the seat as I'm driving as a tall driver, I can still sit behind it. Of course not the best package, so to speak, but here headroom is no problem at all because of the square dimensions and the design, and it's actually also fairly comfortable. Maybe here the angle of the legs could be a little bit better, but still I'm happy with that. And in the middle parts a little bit stiffer, but you can also sit here. The outside parts are of course more comfortable. These floor mats here, by the way, they also have this special edition colors here, but they're not really fixed, so they slide around easily. These are the colors here. And yeah, we recently had that also in the Porsche Cayenne. You remember that story maybe when you have seen the episode that at Porsche they told us that customers for the rear floor mats, they kind of ripped them apart that hard that they ripped out the lower floor, and that's why they went for floor mats that easily slide in the rear and can be taken out. Wow, I mean, stories of the automotive industry, but I don't know, maybe Land Cruiser customers did the same. I have no idea. I feel it's always better to fix floor mats in the rear. What do you think? Reclining function of the seats here, either more forward or more backward, and then you can see here this angle difference. Most obviously, there is no spare tire right here. It went right here underneath the vehicle, so you still have one. Usually you do then these sliding or side doors when you have a spare tire right here due to weight reasons. Well, since you don't have one here anymore, you can have different things. For example, first of all, here with this button, you can have this separate glass door here, so nice quick access. Here in the top you can also see this hidden rear camera. This is not the normal one, but the one for the back mirror when you have the luggage all the way up to the ceiling, for example. Then you can close it when you're properly again, and then you have an electric hatch. There we go. and then with the full trunk, and the measurements are here a little bit more than 1 meter or 40 inches in length, even near 120 in meters, or it's like 47-inch in width, a little bit closer than here. So this is very well usable indeed. And the even cooler thing is, of course, you can fold the bench. Here we have the controls for the third seating row right here, and then we can fold up. There we go. And maybe move the camera here to the other side, because then you can see how the lower part here comes up. Look at that. That's really magic. And wait for it. There we go. That's actually quite cool, right? And you can do that with both seats. And yeah, then of course hardly any trunk space is left behind, but then we can use the third row. Now the third seating row, and you can see how the entry mechanism works here already on your side. I can do the same on my side here. So I fold this one down and keep going, and then this one folds up completely, and then I can have the access right here. There's a nice area here. Then I can also fold up the head restraints like this, easy and manual. And I can also put back this one here, because I want to show you how much legroom I still have or not. So here we go, and let's also put it in a way that someone could sit there. And you can see here, I can sit here also as a tall adult. Not most comfortably, but also headroom-wise, yeah, my hair is touching the seating barely, so it works indeed for 7 tall adults. So yeah, 7-seater is available. Obviously, you can see that. So the only thing that's not available is the 3-door. It will always come here as the 5-door version. And then also with electric control here of these rear seats a little bit. But yeah, if that's really necessary, I don't know. But yeah, surprisingly good as for that 7-seater option here. As for engines, for the Northern American market, a 2.4 petrol hybrid 4-cylinder. Also 4-cylinder for the European market here with the 2.8 liter diesel with around 200 horsepower. This will also later come as a mild hybrid version, and 3.5 tons is the towing capacity. So how do you like the new Land Cruiser? Tell me in the comments. Of course, competitors would be a Land Rover Defender. If you want to spend more money, Mercedes G-Class.